Hello everyone. I want to give you a demonstration of my $40 drill press table. I have this Mastercraft drill press. It's just a small desktop one. I had a larger one and it just took up too much room. So this is the table I built. Now the raise and lower mechanism is a little lumpy, and I like to extend that at some point and make it a little easier, but I found that I didn't use it that often. I just set it and forget it. So we have the machinist style vise with a block of wood that fits in these two tracks. So the knobs were $4 for 5 from Lee Valley, and the T-track bolts also were from Lee Valley. And the area on the left here is a dust collection hood, and I'm going to experiment with that a little bit. But I did some spindle sanding with it and some larger, if you're drilling MDF or something. So I have a place in there for my dust collection system, and then design flaw, which is my back fence is not long enough, and you'll see when I slide it off that that one hole there on the left will fit on the track, but then it kind of puts it too close to the drill. Now I do have the table swung over for clarity because I don't have a lot of room to work. So the back fence runs through 3-inch T-track bolts. It's adjustable front and back, and I'll show you in a little bit how I intend to make some adjustments and stop blocks on that back fence. So the extrusion was from Lee Valley, $14 for 4 feet. I had the room, I elevated it, so I threw in some little shelves, little drawers, although I don't need them. I'm just a drawer addict, and they're all made with scrap wood, and they come out, and with the expensive popsicle stick leveling system. I did not include the popsicle sticks in my $40 estimate, but this is basically how the table works. And again, it kind of makes a little more sense if you're looking straight on. So these are removable panels, and I'll show you in a minute that I made a bunch of them because the material is so cheap. So it's the 3/4 inch melamine shelving material. A 2 foot by 4 foot sheet was $12. And I have one bolt runs through the center of the drill press, and it just kind of keeps it snug. You'll see that when I take it off, there's a couple of feet that slide down into the table of the drill press, and that's what keeps everything really quite rigid. And all these feet do is to keep it stabilized. I put a little hole in there for my chuck, and maybe I'll do some magnets or something with that. But you'll see, I'm going to flip this over here, and you'll see that the little feet drop down through those slots and keep the whole thing angled and exactly as it should be. So I'll put that back on. The rear fence can come straight off. I can either pull the bolts, or I had the bit left in for demonstration purposes, so I kind of wiggled there a little bit. But anyway, it's back, and I'll just throw the bolt back in and tighten it down. I'll probably end up putting a large wing nut or knob on the main bolt. It's a little tricky to hold it down there and then put the wrench in. So it's a bit refining, and I'll get to that as some kind of future improvement. I have no idea how often I'll be taking it on or off. So there's my little removable panel. They're meant to be disposable, and I've created a whole stack of them. Anyway, we'll get to that. So there they are. I just set the table saw for a common size, and I really wanted the table because sometimes it's hard to do things repeatable, and sometimes it's hard to hold things down. I do some wood turning, and I use a large Forstner bit to create the hole for the tenon, so I needed something to hold down. So anyway, here's my my dust collection system, and I won't say it's a dust collection, it's more of a chip collection system. My workspace is small. It tends to get very cluttered. I found that spending a significant amount of time on chip and dirt collection really helps. So these are the tracks. They are the 1/4 inch varieties. I don't do anything heavy enough that I would need the larger one. They're dadoed in and epoxied. The table goes on with drywall screws. Mostly the bottom is made with pine. So I'll just position this back in, and you'll see how that goes. and I'll give you a little better go at how the dust collection fits in. I found instead of making fancy adapters with any of my dust collection or chip collection, I've just used the scroll saw and traced out the hole. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it just slides in there and does its business. Probably more for spindle sanding and significant amounts. It works quite well. I could do a video of that. So there we are. That's the kind of the side view. You'll see how it all fits. Little hole there for the chuck because the key, because it's always wandering here or wandering there, and that's kind of the process. I think it's universal. I have created a hold down system for my router table, and I just grabbed the Rockler style clamps that I made, and I realized that they are interchangeable with this. I don't need to make new ones. They hold it quite tight. They probably could be adjusted, or I could make a different similar style, and I can use the exact same one on the back for a stop block or a series of stop blocks if I wanted exact measurements. I can, of course, reach down and lock the table the drill press table in place. So these would work kind of like that if they were a different fashion, but they're certainly easy enough to make. I could just take a simple block of wood and drill a hole in and go. Those T-track bolts are quite reasonable. I had some left over, but that was kind of the deal. So anyway, that's the gist of it. You can look around back and see how it's nestled in there to fit. It doesn't need to be. I just gave it a little more rigidity, and the drawers are kind of handy. Now, I don't like the distance that it sits up. It takes a lot of the travel away. I don't tend to drill things that are that deep. I don't do mortising, although I could spin the entire table around and still use it freehand. And good little storage spot there for the machinist style vise, which should do everything. So that's the little tour of my $40 drill press table. Thank you.